Hi, everybody. Welcome on Art School Live. My name is Amandine. I am actually the producer of this show, but today I am on camera because the guest host, 𝗕𝗏𝗁𝗵𝗵, is not able to come on. She's sick. She has the flu. So you're stuck with me if you'll have me. Please, bear with me. That's probably the first time ever I do that. And thankfully, we have a patient guest today. So please help me welcome Timo Bechert on Art School Live. Hi, Timo. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be on live with you, Amandine,
Thank you
and
so much
everybody
for
in the
being
audience.
here and sticking up with me. We're going to make this work. So please just let me know, tell me what you're planning to teach today.
Well, today we're going to do some night scene in watercolor, and we're going to focus on wet into wet painting. So we're going to do it all in one nice, clean swoop.
All right. Well, that sounds good. So let's get this show started.
It's Art School Live with Eric Rhoads. Now, here's your host, Eric Rhoads.
Welcome, everybody. As you can see, I am not Eric Rhoads, and I'm also not 𝗕𝗏𝗁𝗵𝗵, who was supposed to host today, but unfortunately, she's not feeling well. So well, you're stuck with me, and we wish her to feel better very soon. Obviously, she should be back soon. Today, my guest is Timo Bechert, and he's gonna teach us how to paint night scene in watercolor. And today's a show full of accent because Timo is German Turkish and is currently in Paris, and I am French, currently in the States. So we're gonna be speaking with accents today, aren't we? And actually,
Yeah.
Timo can do a very, very great French accent. He just did it before.
Yes. Welcome to my painting. I am right now in Paris, and we will be painting the Tuileries. But I'm going to stick to more of a American British accent, or I guess a neutral one, because otherwise we won't be able to advance on the painting.
Sounds like a good plan. All right, we'll take it away.
Yeah, so I've sketched out already the scene that I guess we have a reference picture from, and it's from my favorite gardens in Paris, which are the Tuileries. And the beautiful thing about this park is it's got this very soft sand ground, and that ground is gonna refract and color itself depending on the atmosphere of the time of the day. So in the afternoons, you're gonna have like beautiful sweeping shadows. You're gonna have in the morning. It's gonna be like very sandy. Sometimes when it's windy, it gets dusty, and there's like almost feels like a sandstorm, some kind of thing like that. And in the evenings, it colors itself with the color of the lampposts that are close in the park. And I mean, I'm mainly a plein air painter, and so I do really enjoy painting on the spot. But this is a scene I cannot paint on location because the park closes in the evenings. So I can't stay and finish a painting. So that's why I'm painting this now live with you guys, because it's something I can't do on the spot. And right now I've wetted my paper. It's 300 grams paper, fine grain. Any brand will usually do. And I'm kind of scooping up a bit the excess water here and making sure it's nice and wet. And so the idea is I wet the whole paper so that I can have a nice surface where the colors can like spread and mix in very nicely with each other. Then in a second step, I'm gonna be mixing on the side some different shades of some kind of mid-tone. So I'm gonna have some yellow, for example, that is gonna have some. I also like to use watercolor. I'm not a purist, so you can see I've already added some paint on the paper, and I'm gonna go ahead and put them into where we've got our lampposts and have some very nice light yellows going on. I've mixed some cadmium, of course also some well, of course, some gouache. I've mixed some gouache into my mixture, and that is going to allow me to break a bit the harsh white of the paper. So gouache is going to tone down your watercolor, and it's going to make it more pastel-like. So you get matter without losing a bit of intensity. Because if I put on the yellow, this very bright yellow by itself, it's going to look a bit off. It's going to look electric. It's going to look a bit lemon-like. And so we do not want that, and that's where we're going. We're going for a bit of a broken yellow. I can go in and mix start adding some more color variation into my mixture and add some more orange. So then I can have some color transitions, as you can see on the reference picture around the lamppost where it's casting shadows on the ground. You've got some yellows happening, but then it turns quickly. It shifts slightly into some oranges and reds, and I'm going to make sure to get some of that color variation onto my painting.
Timo, let me put the reference image full screen for a second so people can see,
yeah,
because
sure.
I can't really overlay it since we're so close to the paper. So let's just take a second to look at this real quick. All right.
Very nice. And yeah, also the special thing about the Tuileries Gardens is that, like, any point of view, more or less, you can make a painting of it. Like, it's such a kind of a special place because you've got the statues that align, make interesting compositions. It's never really boring to look at. And that's why I love going painting there, because you usually also have the Louvre as a backdrop. You have there's like these pavilions. There are these 2 pavilions that are close to the gardens on the side of the Tuileries, which are there's a pavilion de flore, which maybe you can picture. It's got this pointy roof and these huge chimneys, and those are kind of like the aspects I really enjoy in this garden. And so yeah, so now I've covered most of the paper with some underground underlaying paint, and I've done some variation. I've got some reds, I've got some oranges, I've got some yellows, and towards the lamp it's more yellow. Up on the top of the lamp it's more yellow. And so before it starts drying too much on me, I'm gonna take some. I've got a mix of blue in this long flat brush. And important is that you mix a lot before you actually set the painting onto the paper, so that you have enough and you don't run out while it is still wet. And here I'm gonna go and I'm gonna gently sweep the blue into the painting. You can see it's coming here from the bottom. This is all nicely going to mix on the paper. I can take some more of that blue, mix in my palette, and go ahead and then already look at the areas that have shadows. So I've got some shadows going on here at the back. I'm gonna add them in slightly, so we get the soft transition from light to shade. And that's a bit like a lot of the secret of painting atmospheric scenes are these soft transitions in wet into wet. So you really need to think about how you plan your painting, how your paper is doing, what your paper actually do, and what it can't do. And for that, I like to have like this exercise where I'll make like different squares, and in each I will either add water or add pigments in different consistencies, and drop then water and then the consequent pigments on top of the square. So you have like a grid where on one side you have like the different pigment variations, and then according to time you can drop your paint into that grid, and that can really help you kind of grasp what your watercolor can do for you, and how your paper reacts to different levels of moisture, how it reacts to pigments. It's almost scientific in a way doing that. I can only highly recommend to you to do like this boring exercise in order to understand a bit further your pigments. So here you can see it's making this nice, very soft transition. I've got to add in some more blue here on this side. It's behind the statue. It's also a bit in the shade. As you can see, I've put a bit too much. I've mixed now a bit of a hue that is too strong. So I could use a dry brush to just swipe it back away, and then here I can add again the mixture with a more diluted version of the same mixture. I won't touch the back here where the trees are. There's a bit of light shining through there, so I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna go a bit in front of it. And so now would be almost the time to start doing the sky. For the sky, I'm gonna take almost the same shade. As you can see, the sky color is very, very similar to the ground. And so we can take that and emphasize it a bit more. We're gonna add. So I'm mixing a blue gray with ultramarine, and I'm going to go ahead and mix a tiny bit more of that to really emphasize and exaggerate the sky color. And you want that because so you really have some kind of contrast happening in your painting. You don't want it to be all the same. And anyways, once I go down here, it's gonna slightly dilute a bit, and then in the end, I hope. Yeah, you do see it on the screen. Okay, so here there's also like where the magic is happening. It's kind of mixing into the different into the bottom area, and we're getting these nice wet into wet edges. Of course, we've got a backdrop, which is the tree line at the back there, and that's gonna help us also define more the back side of the painting. We're gonna have trees lining the backside, and those are going to be like a very ideal backdrop for a painting. So here I'm still gonna add some more blue in between the lampposts. This yellow kind of shifted a bit, but I'm gonna bring it back here. Gonna keep some interesting points happening here. This shadow kind of diluted a bit, so I'm going to go and add a bit more intensity to it. I can add also there's so this while it is a bit drying, I can add the soft cast shadow from the lamppost. So you can go and use your flat side of the brush to make like it just a little hint of something leading away from the painting. If you don't like the shape, again, clean dry brush, and you can swoop it a bit away. So here you can see I'm gonna use this brush here again, soft brush, and make that shape a bit sharper, and have it kind of follow a same vanishing line according to the statue and the people there. So right now it looks quite nice. Yeah, I mean, always on the screen it kind of will make it more contrasting, darker colors. So right now on my paper it's kind of soft and pastel-like, the colors. I can go and use a bit more heavier, darker paint here in the foreground. I can accentuate the contrast, and yeah, I have on top of this rise here. So basically there's like a ramp leading downwards into this area, and it also is in the shade, but the lower part is in the it's getting some light. So I can take my brush with some still leftover paint from earlier, and make sure it's quite dry, and just pull this a bit down into here. And so here you can get some more variations and some more lightness into the painting. Yeah, so this is already a very good start for first pass of a color. While it is still wet, I recommend we can add some more variation and colors into our main statue group here. So I'm gonna take a smaller brush and take like a mixture of some ochre, white gouache and some. I'm mixing some. What's it called? It's yeah, an orange. So it's like a pure orange. And I'm gonna make sure to have like a nice mixture that is a bit more concentrated than what's right now sitting on the paper, so that when I add it onto the paper, it's gonna dilute, but it's not gonna run all over my paper. So that's important. You want it to be diffuse, soft in a certain area, not over the whole page. So that's so I'm gonna be adding that kind of like pinkish color a bit into some areas here. Nice thing is you just accentuate, have a good time, go over some of your lines, make sure it's not just flat. That's important. Next step is the sky is nicely drying, let's say, and it's reached a point where I can go ahead and pick up a brush with some. I've mixed like a dark. So this is now even more concentrated than what I've laid before that. Hang on. Before that, I'm gonna be spraying some texture here in the foreground, because the thing is, it's abstract and then becomes concrete, and then it becomes abstract again somehow in the background. So I need to have something here that tells me, okay, this is leading me into the painting, and I'm gonna be spraying I've got a spray bottle. I'm gonna spray lightly on the front of the painting, some little droplets while it is drying, so I can get some texture, and that texture is gonna be like the beginning of the figurative part of the drawing. So I don't know if you can see it. It's gonna start appearing here slightly as it dries along. You're gonna see more little droplets, more white spots happening in the foreground. And so yeah, I've got a good painter friend, Vicente Garcia. I don't know if you've ever seen his work or know about him, but he always tells me that you need to have something that leads your eye into the painting, and that from abstraction to figurativeness is not like an abrupt transition. Yeah, if you have any questions, please let Amandine know, and she will definitely tell them to me.
Yes, so we actually do have a question.
We have a question. Oh, okay.
Yes, and so we don't name brands on the show, but if you can explain what the best watercolor brushes to start a painting. She's mentioning, or she or he is mentioning, is it a mop brush or a sable or something?
Okay. The type of brush. Okay, yes.
Type of brush, yes, to start the painting.
So I guess for starting a painting, it depends on what exactly you're doing. So if you want to cover a big surface, I would use a flat brush, like a 𝗲𝗄𝗵𝗵𝗵 brush, which are like these Japanese versions of watercolor brushes. They are very nice. I would start using that one. That one's very nice. You can buy fairly inexpensive ones. They will lose more their hair, or you can go ahead and get a bit of a more like this one. This is more of let's say a higher end brush. That one will be definitely very trustworthy and not lose any hair. The nice thing about some of these inexpensive ones. So right now, what I'm doing with the background here, the different trees that I'm doing wet into wet, so it nicely spreads. This brush is actually quite old, and so you can see the hair at the top here is starting to split. And as it is splitting, it allows me to create nice foliage-like texture. As you can see, it's like I'm moving the brush around. I'm not using it just like a fork. I am kind of using it on the side, then turning it slightly, and getting these beautiful variations into it. And that allows me to paint very nice, very abstract shapes without too much effort. Let's say I'm not trying to paint it, the brush is doing most of the work. And I think that's another important part of watercolor painting. You need to select a brush that does most of the job for you. So, for example, for when painting architecture, you want to get a more of a square brush, because you're gonna be doing you're gonna be painting lines and more geometric elements, and you want those to be nice and vertical or horizontal. So that's why I would suggest getting like a flat brush for those works, and you can get there are a lot of good different flat brushes. If you want to do flat brushes are not, for example, not good for painting details or painting things that need to be a bit more sharp, a bit more pointy. And for those, you rather go ahead and use a rounded tip brush, more of a sable, more of a you can go also for synthetic watercolor brushes like 𝗕𝗲𝗏, or there are all these different watercolor brand brushes that will produce a good synthetic brush. Usually the brand doesn't really matter.
Timo, can you remind us what kind of paper you're using? I think you mentioned it at the beginning, but someone missed it.
Yes, I am using 300 grams fine grain watercolor paper, and I'm using it on the rough side. So there are actually two sides of the paper. One side is usually a bit finer than the other one, and depending on kind of what result you want, you'll be using either side. So I'm using the rougher grain side because right now I want to have a very nice long time working wet into wet as I wetted my paper. If I wanted to work even longer wet into wet, I would wet the other side of the paper as well. So then the water really penetrates into the paper and keeps it nice and moist. So here you can see I've left this fuzzy edge around the light post. I'm still kind of waiting a bit on this edge. It is still too wet, so you don't want to go ahead and go too strongly into there. Otherwise, it's gonna all blend and melt into your statues. What I can do is here in the foreground, I can pick up some of my similar looking color, which is like Pyroline green, some Payne's gray, really nice dark elements, and go ahead and just swoop, wipe some bushes, because we've got these bushes in the foreground, and the issue is if you make them too, if you distinguish each and every leaf on these bushes here in the foreground, they're gonna distract too much from the main stuff happening here in the center. So you want it to be there, but you don't want it to be too prominent. So I'm do you see it?
Yes, I was gonna say we are a little off
okay.
Screen.
I can zoom back a tiny bit.
Yes, thank you.
And then you guys can see better maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah, as you can see, there's this. I've kind of recropped the painting as well. So we're not doing the full reference image. I'm doing just part of it because I kind of do enjoy this curve here. But I'm not too much interested in all the greens happening here, and I also didn't like there's this kind of railguard that is going along this line, and I don't really like that one. So I'll just leave it out, and that's the nice thing about painting is like you can just reorder stuff according to how you like it, how you feel right in the moment, and yeah, I think it. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say you just feel free to change stuff in the scenes.
Perfect. So we do have a question from Carl. He's asking, do you use a clean, dry brush for water removal techniques while in the initial wash stage for paths, fence lines, or cutting around statues?
Yes, that's a good question. I will rather wait until I can work it wet into wet. But for example, here I've painted a negative, so I'm not removing paint from any of these areas. But yeah, you can definitely, while it's still being in the wet stage, work with a dry brush and start lifting some elements. We might be doing that. We could actually try to do that on some of these statues, but actually they're melting nicely into the tree area. So I kind of don't feel like going too close to that. What you can definitely do is dry some parts of your painting with a brush, and so that here, for example, if I start drying a bit the statue, I can control better the edge when I get to painting close to it. I hope that's clear.
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I'm gonna, here in the front, I'm gonna splatter a bit as well, some elements, so I can also have a bit more texture. This, yeah, it doesn't matter if it goes up into the trees. The trees get also some leaves. That's nice. And here the splashes here, they're gonna disappear into the lake. That's kind of nice. We've got like bits and pieces that lead our eyes up into our painting and into the main focal point. So this is coming along nicely. It's just still drying, so I'm still gonna wait on it a tiny bit. What I can do in the meantime is pick up my blue. If I have some leftover blue and blue-gray and ultramarine, and go ahead and make a bit of a denser mix of that, like a bit like the sky, I'd say, and then go ahead and lay it into the. So there's like this kind of, yeah, shade. So the side of the pool is going to be in shade, and so I'll be painting that right now with my blue-gray mix. I'm going to go ahead and try not to get too close to the statue, otherwise it's going to bleed into it. So I'm not doing that, and here I can go and add more blue-gray on this side. So the nice thing is, like, when you arrive at this stage, like, a lot of the painting is already done. Like, you can't mess it up too bad after this. So that's already reassuring. But then some of the next steps are really going to make the painting shine, and so that's important. So we're going to wait. So I can see like in this area it's already starting to dry nicely. Here it is still wet. Excuse me, I'm also a bit sick. Here it's also a bit, it's still a bit dry. No, sorry, it's still a bit wet here on this area. Here it's starting to be quite dry. So if I want to add some more, texture, it's now the moment to go ahead and pick your brush up and say, okay, I want some defining lines of this wall area here. I can take my little brush from earlier. I can add some of those lines in here as well. The nice thing is some of these bushes are going to have their face turned away from the light, and while it is still wet, we can add our darks, really nice deep darks onto our bushes. This is like, if you think about it, it's like almost straight out of the tube. I'm really going for it, and I'm making sure to paint slightly around the next shape, so that then, so this one is like in front of this one, so I can paint on top of it. This one goes here. Make sure not to have any little white edges in between your elements. That's always like one typical thing I see students do, is they have like this, they are afraid to go too close to the next object, and then you have like these horrible little white edges. And we do not want to have little white edges. It's not exactly appealing. So here it's nice. Okay, so right now I think we've arrived to a point where this is already being quite good. So I can go and pick up so I want to mix like very dark I'm mixing some Payne's gray and some burnt sienna to get like this very, very dark color. And as you can see, I'm like laying it down, and it's still going against the trees in the background. So this I can like move it up a bit into the tree, add some detailing there, but it's still wet, so it's all nicely gonna melt together. So that's the idea, is you actually get a huge variety of values while it's still being wet. And that's also like a bit of an effortless way of painting, I'd say. It's like you don't need to mix all those values you'd have to mix in oil painting or in gouache or acrylics. So that's one of the beauties of watercolors. You just enjoy laying down values and letting the colors mix with each other, and not having to worry too much about getting a huge variety of colors. Yeah, so here I've switched to a Chinese brush, and this one is allowing me to have a very nice tip. And with that tip, I can go and start detailing a bit. There are like these tree trunks coming down in the background. I'm gonna make sure not to add too much darkness while I go away in this direction, because you don't want to have your trees here be too dark, because these are the ones that should be dark. And then again, here you technically would want to have the darkest area here, but I'm gonna leave it more toned down so we focus more on this area.
Timo, I'm going to put the reference image on the screen one more time, just so people can see.
That's a good idea.
Yes, beautiful scene. So you mentioned earlier that you cropped it a little bit. It seems to be closer to the statue.
Yes, exactly. I've cropped it so that I can have also a closer look at the statue. It felt like uncropped, it would feel like you have this huge bush in the middle dividing up your composition, and that actually bothered me. So, well, thinking about composition, I always think about like how does the eye circulate throughout the painting? How does it how do you travel through your painting? And if the answer is, well, I have a huge railing that is hindering me from entering the painting, or if I have some other issues, you do not want to encounter some of those problems. So right now the painting is as far along that I can go and approach the statue, and I'll also nicely make sure to paint around it. And as you can see, it's not spreading onto it. It's just sitting on the paper, and you can get some nice value mixes in here. So yeah, I can add some more tree trunks here in the background, make it more interesting. Have some darkness here, some tree trunks, less and less towards the back. Here, this tree in the foreground, I can make it a bit more, again, a bit more darker. I can add more darkness on this side, and yeah, so this looks nice. The background is coming along nicely. It is drying in a nice regular way. So what we can do now is wait till it probably dries a bit more before I start doing the body of water, and I can go, and this edge is a bit straight, so I'm gonna go and add some more darkness into some areas of the trees, so it's not 100% just like, it's always good to have elements that are not all at the same height or symmetrical. So that's important. You always have to be careful in your paintings not to have elements that are looking too much alike, or that will look. And it's funnily enough, like some human-made elements will be so symmetrical that they will look unnatural, and so you have to move them around a bit to make them look more natural. Having like disorderly placement of elements being the more natural way of seeing stuff. So right now, I think it is a good time since the painting has had time to dry a bit. I'm gonna mix a mid-tone shadow for the statue group, and have like so I'm mixing my leftover. So that's always good, because in your palette, if you have leftover paint, you can go ahead and mix those with other ones, and like that you have more of a homogeneous palette, I'd say. Well, homogeneous. Your color mixes are more limited, and it gives overall more harmony to your paintings. So I'm going and mixing some of the shadow sky color slash with the other pink elements I've got here. And you can, that's also another technique I like to use, is using a couple of brushes at the same time to get more color variation, because you want to have the color variations wet into wet. So I've got one brush with slightly more pink, one brush with slightly more blue, and you can use one third brush with a bit of just some, yeah, it's just a clean brush with some water, and I can go over some of the edges here and laying in that shadow color. And so that's gonna here blend in a bit more as I put it here. You can see it's still spreading a lot, so maybe I need to wait. A tiny bit more, or oh, actually, I might go ahead and just wait till I arrive to the edge. I can already add some softer shadows into here. Yeah, get this one. I'm not gonna put the shadow here, because that shadow here really needs to be hard. So I can go pick some more of the yellow / purple, get some color variation going in here, add some more on his back of the statue. And this is all very nice, wet into wet. It melts together. That's the nice thing.
Timo, I'm just letting you know you have a little bit less than 15 minutes.
Yep. Okay.
Somebody is asking what size is your painting?
It is roughly A3. I don't know what that is in US measurements. I'm sorry.
What was the measurement again? I can convert.
A3. That's like.
Oh yes. Okay. Let me find out.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are interested in seeing more of me, I've got you can head over to my website, which is 𝗕𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗵.com, and you can check out. I've got some upcoming tutorials that are free. You can register there. I've got also weekly online classes that roll every Tuesday. So if you're interested in any of those, I would go check it out on my website.
Okay, so A3 is roughly 11 by 16 inches.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so yeah, so now we've arrived at a nice point where I can add in the water on the. Oh, is it dry? Maybe I'm gonna actually to speed things up a bit. I'm gonna dry the painting with a blow dryer, and like that we can finish it off dry on. We can finish it dry on dry. I mean wet on dry. I mean. Okay, yeah. So that actually already does most of the job. So I'm gonna take some of the some more Payne's gray. We want our reflections here to be very dark, so I'm going to go and pick up this edge. I've got a nice rounded brush that is pointy, so I can make all these very sharp edges. Make sure to come. I'm painting around the statues, and I can like soften the edges a bit to have a variation in the edge of the yeah, in the pool. The reflection is going to be like slightly lighter there where the statues are reflecting, so I'm gonna leave that in a, I'm gonna just go with a wet brush and have these variations happening.
Timo, I don't mean to interrupt your instruction too much, but somebody posted in the comments that you are releasing your first book. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, sure. So no, okay, my website needs a slight update, but I've already released my book that is called Rome to Istanbul, sketching and traveling across 8 countries. And so with a friend, we've done during 3 months a bicycle ride from Rome to Istanbul. So the idea was kind of to go from one ancient city to the other one. And at the same time, I said, hey, I might as well paint as well while I'm seeing all these beautiful scenes. And so I've done more than some 200 sketches in watercolor and a lot of ink drawings. I had planned a lot more to paint, but in the end, when you're traveling on a bicycle and have to set up a tent, because we were mainly wild camping. So when you have to set up a tent and cook for dinner, and yeah, it all takes a lot more time than if you were just traveling from point A to point B. But then again, with all the time we had, that was also wonderful to see all the different countries and get to meet some people, and yeah, that was quite a treat.
And so to buy the book, they go to your website?
To buy the book, so the book runs over, no, so they'll have to drop me an email if they're interested in the book, because unfortunately the scale of the project was so big that I had to do some self-publishing. And I have some copies left. If anybody is interested, I can always mail them a copy. Of course, right now, I guess I don't know how the shipping is doing, because a couple of weeks ago I was looking to ship to the US, and with the yeah, right now it was somehow difficult. The French and the US authorities haven't coordinated their efforts in clarifying what the situation is for sending goods to the US. But I'd always be happy if anybody ever comes to Paris. I'll be happily meet up with them. They can always chat with me on Instagram beforehand, and I'll happily meet for a painting session or some coffee or something. And we can always come up with something to get you the book. So here I've noticed that I've got a slight issue with my shadows. So I'm adding a secondary shadow layer to reinforce the value there. Yeah, so I want to get some dry brush into this side of the painting as well, to make it slightly more defined. I'm going to go and add the figures. So for the figures, the nice thing is I don't need to paint the whole figure. I'll paint part of it, and then your brain will suggest the rest of it. So for example, here for the head of this one, I'm going to go ahead and do a slightly dark tone, have a bit on the top, and then I'm going to paint his bottom, and through the 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵 it's gonna just complete, and that's gonna be about it. I've got a bit of a slide to value mix here at the bottom for the pants, and so I always nicely disrupt a bit with the finger so that it doesn't look too static. So the companion is a bit shorter. She's got, that's also a very nice thing, like you've got a bit of a storytelling happening in the scene. You've got a last couple that enjoyed really spending a lot of time in the 𝗏𝗏 Gardens, and they're heading out west, so like towards the sunset, which is probably what they're looking at right now, because that's what you would see if you're walking this way. Yeah, so that's nice. I've got my two figures. Make sure the legs are at different heights, and I can connect it here a bit at the top. I can go and pick up some. So since it's dry, I can take some of the shadow mix I've done earlier, and add them a little shadow that is like heading away from the lamppost, and it's gonna vanish at the same relationship like this line here. So I've got to like imitate this line of shadow, and since I don't want it to be too defined here in the background, I'm gonna just swipe off with some wet with a clean wet brush, and get a bit of a more wet feeling to it, so it dissolves into the background. So yeah, so now we're gonna do the lamppost, add some last little detailing. Of course, you can always add more details, but the nice thing about watercolor is sometimes to leave stuff unfinished is also beautiful. And so here I'm gonna go and add this the lamppost. Very simple, not thinking about it too much. It kind of protrudes in, outwards, and down again. I went fast here to get some dry brush strokes, and here I'm gonna disrupt again the bottom with my finger to get a bit of more of a fuzzy edge to it. Yeah, nicely. I can actually paint the top of it, and again break it a bit with my finger, suggest it. So that's gonna nicely anchor the scene into place. I can add some more dark in between my bushes. Yeah, we can have one or two more darker marks in the water basin here. And right now, I think it's a good time to get some gouache going. So I'm gonna use some white gouache and some yellow gouache, and I'm gonna use them to bring out some light in the background. I'm gonna have some lampposts and other elements that are very bright. So we want to take some white gouache and yellow and mix it together so that we get a nice thick. And we're gonna add these impasto. So I'm gonna have, like, for example, I'm gonna go into my darks and be like, okay, I want to have like one light spot really like standing out there. And I'm gonna have like a bunch of smaller ones here at the back, like on the reference picture. We've got another lamppost here somewhere. We can add some yeah, there's some buildings here in the background. We can add some lights for those as well, and yeah, maybe work on some of these here in the background, and it kind of adds a bit of richness into. So we have a very good base through this all wet into wet, and through adding some dots and some more defined elements, you can start bringing it into focus. So I can go and if I've missed some element on the statue, I can go and kind of add it through this thicker paint as well, and then disrupt it slightly with my fingers. I can add some of the highlights here on the lamppost. Maybe a dot on the figure, or maybe he has his phone out or something, taking a picture. All these little details that will add like richness to your painting. And so right now, there's one thing that still bothers me, and that is that you have a very nice wet into wet element around the head, but you can't read it. So that's why I'm just going to go and add one more pass of darker elements, of darker painting around the head, so that now you can read better the figure. And what I can do is I can use then a dry brush and kind of mix out and away the edges of this color blotch. And that's gonna then integrate itself into the background. Yeah, like that. Awesome. So then you can now read this one better. Maybe as I added a bit of a darker shadow onto the base of it, I can go and add also slightly darker elements into the top side of this statue. That will then also bring this more together. So you've got like a second value happening in the shadows, and that's gonna nicely bring it out a bit more. Yeah, I think that's good. Are there any more questions?
Yeah, so there is a question from Carl, but I was trying to get clarification. So let me just read it. Maybe it's going to make more sense to you. He said, after the scene is completely dry, can you color tone the sand, which I feel like it's snow, I don't know, the sand with more chromatic color, but still keep it nocturnal?
Yeah, I'm afraid I've not understood. Sorry.
Yes, I just posted a comment that is loading now to get clarification. Carl, if you want to clarify your question, just to make sure that we understand it. Somebody else asked what the color was when you put color on the lamppost.
This one here, the dark color, I guess. It is Purline green and some Payne's gray. So basically, what I've put here in the background, in the water, and here into the trees, it's all more or less the same mix, so that it stays nice and homogeneous. Yeah, I guess we came quite far. I don't know how we're doing time-wise.
It's actually a great timing. Time is up. So if you want to come back on camera,
Yeah.
So we can put a face on the name. And while you do that, I should mention your website. So it's 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗁.com, although you did mention that it needs a little bit of update, especially about the book. But you can find him on Instagram at 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗁, correct? And it's
yes, exactly.
𝗵𝗶𝗵𝗁.
Exactly. Thank you, Amandine.
Thank you so much. Listen, it was amazing. The level of instruction was amazing. People loved it in the comments. You were a great teacher, so thank you so much for being on today.
Oh, well, that's a big pleasure. I mean, honestly, I've been following Plein Air magazine and everything Eric does since so many years, and it's been a real pleasure to meet. I hope I meet Eric someday in person, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to more exchanges and watercolor paintings.
Yes, for sure. I will definitely contact our director of event. We need to have you on one of our events because you're a great teacher.
That would be amazing. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you so much, Timo. So like I said, please follow Timo on Instagram at 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗁.com. 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗁.com is the website, but at 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗁 is Instagram. I do have a free gift for you, like every day. Download the free ebook, 10 simple tips to master the use of watercolors. So you want to go to americanwatercolor.net /ebook to do that. And if you have not signed up for Plein Air Live, what are you doing? Don't wait, just sign up. It's on November 6th through 8th, 2025. So yeah, you don't have a lot of time left with Essential Techniques Day on November 5th. It's really 3 days to fast track your journey to outdoor painting. And since it's called Plein Air Live, the instructors are actually painting outside. So you really, really don't want to miss it. So let's watch this little video promo.
Every artist knows the frustration. You want to grow, to break through, to see your paintings come alive. But too often you're painting alone, stuck in the same routines, not knowing what's missing. Photos lie, books only go so far, and it can feel like the true secrets of painting are locked away. But what if, in just 3 days, you could watch the world's top plein air and landscape painters, brush in hand, showing you every step of their process? What if you could ask your questions and learn the techniques it took them decades to master without ever leaving home? This November, join us for Plein Air Live, the world's largest online painting conference. You'll learn from legends like 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵, Cindy Barron, Kathleen Hudson, Cami Medlick, Bill Davidson, Mike Hernandez, and dozens more hand-picked masters. Across 3 days, plus an optional Essential Techniques Day for a guided refresher, you'll watch demonstrations, join interactive breakout rooms, and even paint along in evening sessions with new friends from around the globe. This kind of lineup will never happen again. You could spend tens of thousands traveling to workshops and still never gather this much talent in one place. But at Plein Air Live, it all comes to you. Don't miss your chance to grow, to connect, and to be inspired. Join us at Plein Air Live, November 6th through 8th, 2025.
All right, so sign up. And of course, don't forget to follow us on YouTube at Art School Live and subscribe to the channel. And of course, follow Eric on Instagram at Eric Rhoads. And speaking of Eric, I think it's time to check on him. Where in the world is Eric Rhoads?
Hey guys, I'm in 𝗬𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵. Today we just checked out of our hotel in Lake Lucerne, and we took a bus ride here about an hour and a half, and then we took a cable car all the way up here to 𝗬𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵. It's a village, a beautiful little village, and it overlooks the mountains. And you look at the mountains in the background there, the fall color, it's absolutely beautiful. A lot of Swiss chalets, of course, and just really, it's a little touristy, but it's really beautiful. There's a reason it's touristy, because people want to be here. Anyway, today is our travel day. We're checking into a new hotel after lunch. We have a little free time, a little painting time, and then a dinner. And then tomorrow's a full day of painting for the next 2 or 3 days in Grindelwald, where we're going to be staying, which is going to be really remarkable. Little villages with no cars. This village up here has no cars. It's going to be pretty wonderful for some painting and some photographs. And it's just a overall great group. We have a pretty significantly large group, and we're having a great time. So we wish you were here. The next trip that we're going to announce soon will be coming up. We're going to announce it almost a year in advance, so you'll have plenty of time to book it. We actually have 2 trips. We're going to have a fine art connoisseur trip, and we're going to have a painting trip. Some people like to do both. And then we're also going to be announcing a trip for the spring of 27. So we're trying to get way ahead of this. So check out the mountains behind me now. The sun is probably going to block it out a little bit, but there you go. You can see it. And then in the distance, you can see the other mountains. So just checking in. See you later.
Well, that's dreamy. I wish I was with Eric. And I do know where the next trips are going to be. and you really, really don't want to miss it. So stay tuned for those announcements. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me today as a guest. So my name is Amandine. I'm usually the producer. I am the producer of this show, but today I had to jump in because Carrie is sick and wasn't able to come on. I was so happy to have Timo as my guest today. He's just amazing. Please don't forget to go check him out on his website and Instagram. And tomorrow, Laurie Putnam is going to be the guest host with guest artist Chris Morrell. So that's going to be really great. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.